Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bronson's Soapbox, where this week I want to talk about the console war and how each console is doing, be it 3 years in like the Wii U or 2 years in like the other two. I'm basically just going to go in order, release, and talk about what they've done right, what they've done wrong, what they can go for, what they need to do to improve going forward. So let's start out with the saddest one, Nintendo. The Wii U has effectively been a common failure for Nintendo overall. The system launched at, even for the time, to have a price point for the tech that was in it. It was drastically underpowered. It had incredibly fucked up architecture, and it was basically banking on the name Wii, which that actually ended up backfiring because people didn't think it was a new system. They thought it was like an accessory. And they also were banking on like backwards compatibility, which is smart, but not all the way there. And a couple other things that didn't ever pan out for them. So, what did they do to fix this? Well, they cut price, but it's never dropped below that $300 mark, and I don't know why, because Nintendo's always been a fan of big price drops, especially when they're losing money. Like, is it the fact that the tablet is making it too expensive to reduce cost? Like, something is stopping the system from reducing cost and them just fucking cutting price and just massively dropping the system down so everyone can go get Smash and Mario Kart and those marquee Nintendo franchises. That said, Nintendo has done some things well. The first thing has been games. Nintendo, at least, not so much the third parties, has been putting out amazing games for this thing pretty much since it launched. Like, New Mario U was a great 2D Mario. They managed to put out a great 3D Mario in the following year. Pikmin came out. They put out, Wind Waker HD. They put out Smash. They put out Mario Kart. Mario Tennis is coming in the coming weeks. And in my opinion, one of the most innovative, fresh, smart games in years. In years and years and years and years and years, I think people don't realize how much it's going to affect the industry in the long run. Mario Maker. And that could only be really done on like the DS or the Wii U, or a system where you have a touchscreen. They did do a good job with second-party support, where they were funding projects and getting exclusives that way with the Wonderful 101 and Bayonetta and Zombie U, and they managed to snag, a year's worth of exclusivity almost in Shovel Knight, and they did a couple smart things there. What could they do in the future? Well, at this point, they've kind of already committed to moving on to the NX. So as far as the Wii U goes, just put out what games are left, support it for your big, diehard, marquee Nintendo fans, and keep cranking out them amiibos. They're kind of awesome, and I'm totally addicted to buying them. As for Sony was the next one to come out. They came out around, I believe it was November 17th, 2013, and they definitely had the worst launch when it came to games. Killzone was a great launch title, but that was the only really big, great exclusive versus Xbox, which had Peggle and Forza and Killer Instinct and Dead Rising, which were all really awesome games. That said, going forward, PlayStation has just outsold Xbox, and that part of that comes with their marketing message. They were very more consumer-friendly. They marketed themselves as the cheaper console up front. They have marketed themselves to gamers, which evangelized the system and made it so everyone wanted to pick it up. They improved their online structure drastically. They have the better interface of the two new consoles, even with the new Xbox experience. Third parties third parties in general are better on the platform. They did a lot right at the beginning of the generation and leading into the launch. And with the abject failure of the PS3 launch and the setbacks that caused, they kind of needed that. They needed that, that anchor to be like, all right, we're going to have a strong, good, quality launch. That said, they haven't done everything right. There have been very few big name exclusives that aren't remakes. We got the Uncharted and The Last of Us remasters, but those are remakes. Even if the majority of PlayStation 4 owners have not played them, they are still remakes. Bloodborne is an incredible game. It's one of the best games of this year, and will probably end up being one of the best games of the generation. But it's one game. Infamous Second Son, really good game, great game. Was in our top 10 list last year. Not really a system seller. Same can be said for Killzone. You know, I will say that they've done a far better job of finding indie support than Xbox has. They've had Transistor and Rocket League, and they just seem to be very welcoming to indies. It's just that they're really missing the big AAA punch of an exclusive. Like, Until Dawn's great, but it's kind of like not something that's going to get everyone. Not the full. It's not an Uncharted. It's not a Halo. It's not a Forza. It's not a tentpole game. It's a game that props up your lineup, not something that you hang your hat on. Going into the future, though, it looks like they're solving that game issue. You look at Sony's 2016 lineup, and it is phenomenal. You have Persona 5, exclusive to PlayStation. You have Uncharted 4, exclusive. Ratchet & Clank, exclusive. Street Fighter, exclusive. The list goes on and on and on of quality, great games that are only on the PlayStation platforms. And, you know, they're competitive as price. Sony made all the right moves, with the exception of having games for the first 2 years that a lot of people cared about. Like, they nailed third parties. They're getting DLC first. The third party games run better on it, but still, there's nothing that's only on it besides some remasters and some other, tertiary titles, Drive Club, Until Dawn, stuff like that. Yeah, that said, I think they're really solving that with 2016. Xbox. Xbox is almost a reverse tale. It's ironic as hell. They had a very weak launch, very bad PR going into the Xbox One launch cycle. And as such, they are lagging pretty far behind in sales. Both these consoles are outpacing their counterparts of PS3 and 360. But PlayStation 4 is on pace to do PS2 numbers, which is the greatest selling console of all time, versus the Xbox One, which is going to do better than the 360, but not better than the PS2 or like the original DS. That said, going forward, they really turned it around quick. They dropped price immediately. They made it so Connect wasn't mandatory immediately. They've done everything in their power to appeal to indies. They did manage to get Ori and the Blind Forest, and they're the exclusive platform for Cuphead next year, so there's that. That said, and they have had great exclusives. That Master Chief Collection, once it was fixed, was awesome. Sunset Overdrive, Forza, Killer Instinct, Dance Central, Ori and the Blind Forest, Halo 5, Tomb Raider. Like, they're really hammering these exclusives in, and they need to, because their console runs third parties worse. It used to be the more expensive console. Now it was cheaper for a brief period. Now they're the same price again. And I feel that there was so much bad, even though right now, like, it has more games and games that people care about, but due to the fact that it had such a bad launch and most people are playing their third-party games over on PlayStation, they need that. And if I'm Microsoft, I just keep saying, you have to keep that pace up. You have to be like, we got all these games. And they have games next year. Next year is Scalebound and Phantom Dust and other titles that look great, but they need to keep going with those heavy hitters. They need to keep doing great games like this and getting that message out there that, hey, Xbox is the place to be. Like, we goofed early. Don Matrick was saying crazy shit. Ignore him. That was the Xbox then. That was the Xbox that got cocky. This is Xbox now. Overall, if I were to grade each console so far, the Wii U gets a solid C+. It's not a bad console. It does media features okay. It has great games, but you wait a long time in between them. Like, every year, like the Wii U, like 2013, 2014, and probably this year, the Wii U has had a game in our top 10 list for best games of the year. But with that, it's 2 to 3 games and then nothing else for the rest of the year. So it's like if you want the best of the best games, then yeah, they're there, but you got to really wait for them. And then the rest of the system is a convoluted clusterfuck of a mess. PS4 kind of needs some help on the media features end, and it needs exclusives. Like that's what sells a system. That's what That's what really pushes the system forward, and it's lacking them big time. They need to get their exclusives fixed. But everything else about the system is incredible, and the games are coming. So I'll give it a solid B. Um, they could have done a lot better in some cases, but they pretty much nailed everything else other than that one area. Microsoft, your interface was kind of a mess at first. It's better now. You've had like I feel like I want to split Microsoft like the launch like a C minus, but everything else since like an A plus. So I'm gonna give them a B plus. They're doing slightly better than Sony. They have the better lineup this year. They have a very good lineup next year. They definitely have the stronger message in more games right now, and in the future it looks like they're going to add on to that library. I think that the console war being this tight, it's great for us gamers because it means price wars and great games and deals and just these two giant companies and Nintendo off on the side doing everything in their power to compete and be competitive. So we the consumer get great experiences. And then PC is off on its own little corner laughing at all this shit. Anyway, that's been Bronson's Soapbox. I'll be back next week with who knows what. Have a good week, everyone.